Last week, we were talking about the rumored picks for the next James Bond, and they now have Denis Villeneuve hired to direct the next James Bond movies. And people are beginning to discuss the possible next Bond girl. Thank you.
We should just start over. Hold, please.
I'm standing on business.
Let's reel it back.
Okay.
We'll reel it back. We'll start over.
Well, I have to wait
You have
for
to
the
wait
money
for the
gun.
Well, no, and yeah, also the lights.
And the lights.
What if every segment started with flashing red lights like we were getting arrested?
But people rarely ask questions about it, actually. Okay, rewind. Last week, we were talking about the rumored picks for the next James Bond. The next movie is being directed by Denis Villeneuve, and now people are discussing who could be cast as the next Bond girl. And it's not looking good so far because the top picks, according to the gamblers who are betting on these decisions, are Zendaya and Florence Pugh. Now, I don't know if this is just rage bait and they're trying to cause a ruckus, but these are supposedly the favorites to be cast as the next Bond girl, and the top rumored picks for James Bond would be Tom Holland, Harris Dickinson, and Jacob Elordi. And I guess it would make sense if they chose Tom Holland to make Zendaya the Bond girl, but
no, because look, I would never do that if I were them. Because what if they break up? Like, especially if she's
no, they're not gonna. They're married. They're married
because no celebrity couple has ever gotten divorced before.
Well, I mean, if anything, that would just add more intrigue.
And to be fair,
you're already like you've signed
I'm
the
assuming,
contract. You have to do at least 3 movies together, and you're in the middle of a divorce. I think people would love that.
And the Bond girls are not usually in more than one movie at a time.
So they would choose a different one each time.
Then what he does is then if they get divorced in real life, he makes sure that he picks a woman that she's complained about in the past. Mm-hmm. She's like, I hate that Mikey Madison, and then he's like.
I haven't heard about Florence Pugh fatigue yet, but there is definitely a heightened Zendaya fatigue at the moment. And
I have Florence Pugh fatigue.
We always have Florence Pugh fatigue, but I think that if Zendaya got cast, it would not go over well with the fans.
One of the names that they mentioned was Paloma, which is Ana de Armas' character from the previous James Bond movie. That's relevant because she worked with Denis Villeneuve in Blade Runner 2049. Yeah. They also mentioned Rebecca Ferguson because she has worked with him in Dune Part 1 and 2. Mm-hmm. She's too old. Sorry.
So what do you say is the age cutoff then?
They should be under 30.
Okay.
Yes, they should be.
Were there any Bond girls who were over 30?
I'm sure there were, but I'm putting.
Well, then why is the cutoff 30?
Because I've made the decision.
There's no precedent.
This is my precedent here. Chat can let me know. Is Terry Hatcher 30 when she I don't know, like maybe you can look up what the average age is of a Bond girl, but
I'm gonna look up the ages.
They mentioned Margot Robbie. I mean, picking an American for a Bond girl again.
Okay, it says the ages of Bond girls at the time of respective movies range from 21 to 44 years old.
Who was 44?
I believe they said, wait, Madonna.
She wasn't a Bond girl. She was a glorified cameo. That doesn't count.
I don't know if that really counts.
She was a fence.
Let me see.
She was a fencer. She's not a. She wasn't a Bond girl.
Typically, James Bond is mid-30s. Typically, Bond girls would be early to mid-20s. So yeah, but then they also mentioned an exception in Honor Blackman, who was nearly 40 when she starred in Goldfinger.
Okay, so we're going back a ways.
Yeah. I see what you're saying. Like, best not to deviate from the norm.
How old was Halle Berry when she was a Bond girl? How old is Halle Berry now? Because she would have been a Bond girl in 2001.
Let me check.
So they mentioned Margot Robbie. Margot Robbie's like my age, or a couple years younger than me, and same birthday as me. Her birthday is the 2nd too.
Okay, wait. So Halle Berry is 58 now.
Yes. So 20 years. Well, no, because it would have been 2001. So that's what. She
was in her mid-30s.
Okay.
So I mean, that's. There's a precedent, you know? It could be a woman in her mid-30s like Margot Robbie.
If they're going to go with an American, you do Sydney Sweeney.
Okay, so...
It's fun. It's not thinking too hard.
But she's not a good actor.
You don't need to be a good actor to be a Bond girl.
What do you?
It's a benefit,
But that
you
would
don't
just make
need
it
to
come
be.
off like it's for comedic effect.
You
know what I mean?
I do not.
Like,
I say
I
no
get that,
to
like,
Jenna Ortega.
Sydney Sweeney would work in like an Austin Powers role.
Never mind.
She would
yes.
not work.
Okay, you're right.
In a more serious franchise like James Bond.
Never mind.
She would be a fembot.
You're 200% right. They should actually just bring back Austin Powers and have Sydney Sweeney.
It would actually be great. I would watch that. I don't want her in a more serious role because she's not able to do that.
Yeah.
Like, she just can't act.
Emma Watson is listed on this list because one of the producers for Amazon produced all 8 Harry Potter movies. So it looks like they're trying to just kind of make correlations between the people who have been hired on to do this franchise now and who they might look to turn to. For instance, mentioning the fact that Denis Villeneuve has worked with actresses like Ana de Armas and Rebecca Ferguson before. I do not want Zoe Kravitz or Jenna Ortega. I don't think they're a good fit.
Jenna Ortega wouldn't really make
stylistically
sense.
It's not a good fit, and Zoe Kravitz
Jenna Ortega is not really in that genre anyway. Like, she's mostly in horror movies.
I mean, wasn't she the one who was like trying not to be like pigeonholed, but then she got pigeonholed anyways?
Well, I think that Jenna Ortega also just looks too young for a role like that. Like, she doesn't really have like, do you know what I mean?
By the time it comes out, she
doesn't have like bombshell a persona. Like,
I do, however, think I would like what they should do. They should go against type and they should cast Emma Watson as a bad guy. They should make Emma Watson a villain.
I can't. I mean, I saw her as a villain in the
Or
Bling
if you're
Ring,
going to do Zoe Kravitz, no,
that.
she'd be even more annoying as a
Zoe
villain.
Kravitz actually seems like a likely option.
I hate
Weirdly
it.
enough, it just seems like they're gonna do that.
I like the Marissa Abella choice. I did not see Black Bag, but she was in Black Bag, which is in the spy genre itself. Please no Florence Pugh. I would rather Zendaya than Florence Pugh.
Really?
Yes.
You just can't stand Florence
I just
Pugh
can't
that
stand
strongly.
Florence Pugh. I would rather Zendaya than Florence Pugh.
Even Zendaya's angry face.
Even her angry. Make her a villain.
Where,
You know what? Like Famke Janssen in GoldenEye. Make her like a number 2 who makes disapproving faces and shoots people.
there are also other lists
Don't do
that
this. I'm being
include,
I've kind of come to accept that people don't understand when I'm kidding sometimes. I'm kidding. Don't do that either.
Lily Collins is on some lists, and Millie Bobby Brown as well.
They will not take Millie Bobby.
That
I mean, Millie Bobby Brown, they're like, great, she can be young but look old.
No, if they cast her, I think she would be like, oh no, that's like too serious for me. Like, she would rather do Netflix slop. Lupita Nyong'o was on one of the lists I saw.
No.
Anya Taylor-Joy.
Naomi Harris was good as
I want to see Anya Taylor-Joy.
There you go.
But I just like her.
I
like her voice a lot. Yeah. I think she has a Bond girl voice, and she's very striking.
I don't know who else they could bring in. There was people cast after F1 came out who were saying that Damson.
I'm sorry, the thunder right now is crazy. Yeah. I don't know if you guys can hear that, but it's like actually kind of scary. Do you hear it?
Yeah, I hear it.
Okay, yeah.
I do not want Florence Pugh in this role, but in general, I don't really think most of it matters anyways, because the idea of the Bond girl is no longer what it used to mean, unless Amazon really, really wants to go back to tradition and create a genre of Bond girl again that's actually allowed to kind of be fun.
There were some others, such as Zoe Deutsch. I'm not sure if I pronounced that correctly. Haley Steinfeld, Joey King, Dua Lipa.
Joey King would...
Phoebe Dynevor and Rachel Zegler.
Isn't Joey King in the same category as Jenna Ortega, as in they look young? Joey King looks like a child.
I don't think that Joey King would work.
You are correct. I mean, that's Argyle. That's because she was in Argyle.
Yeah, she already did that.
Yeah. I could see that.
Phoebe Dynevor?
No. You are correct. I see somebody in the chat. I'm sorry. Jet Sparks mentioned, Monica Bellucci. That was Spectre, right? She was originally supposed to play Paris Carver in Die Another Day, but that role went to Terry Hatcher. And I believe Terry Hatcher at that point said that she only did it because her husband had the desire to be married to a Bond girl, but then they divorced. See, they divorced. See? It happens.
Bittersweet.
But it'll be interesting to see what they do, because if they make the first one, remember it's now like Amazon is a distinctly American studio making this movie now, and you don't have the Broccoli family involved. And I always felt like when they brought in American actresses to play Bond girls, it was specifically to kind of play to American audiences. So the question is like, where will the American influence come in this film? Mm-hmm. Like, will it end up being the bad guy? I think Rami Malek. Well, I guess Rami Malek wasn't playing an American, but like it'll end up being either the bad guy or the Bond girl. One of them will have to be an American to try and coax audiences. Though I think that tactic doesn't need to be done the way it used to. Yeah. Like back before the internet, it was like,
we're globalized. We're fully globalized now. That's not necessary.
But you understood where it used to come from. They're like, we have to attract this audience by bringing in this actress.
I just saw one of the promotional photos from Henry Cavill's Superman, and he was doing a photo shoot with Amy Adams. Mm-hmm. And I was like, how did they ever approve this?
Yeah.
Like,
they had zero chemistry.
Literally none. And someone said it looks like Henry Cavill is taking her to the police. Like, it looks like he's just a citizen's arrest on her.
There was one where he's like this, because they don't look like they have any chemistry, it looks like he's pouting.
They look like, there's just nothing there.
Yeah.
So obviously they're going to have to pick the next James Bond before casting a Bond girl, because it all depends on the vibe of the actor and what will be compatible with him on screen. They just don't understand on-screen chemistry anymore in Hollywood.
Yeah,
they're almost like against it.
It's the thing is, it used to be the cornerstone for like all of the shows in the mid 2000s that involved like a man and a woman. Like Castle worked because Stana Katic had great chemistry with Nathan Fillion, but then they ended up hating each other. Like they literally
that almost helps.
They kept them apart in the last season because they couldn't stand to be in the same room together.
But that might actually be like, it sounds counterintuitive, but that might be key.
Yeah, like they have
hating each other.
They feel something.
There's passion. Yeah. At least there's passion if they hate each other.
Oh yes, thank you, Leif Erikson. Haley Steinfeld would be a fantastic choice. She has the appropriate look for it.
Yeah,
I think she would work. She's right in that age range.
I can see it.
And she's like, what, 28 now? So she'll be something 30, like 31 when the movie comes out. So she'd be granted by the time it gets filmed, she'd be in her late 20s, early 30s. So I think they could do that.
I really want to see Sydney Sweeney and Sabrina Carpenter as fembots in an Austin Powers reboot.
I'm kind of down.
But obviously with Mike Myers, like it cannot be anyone else.
Yeah.
That goes without saying.
Yeah.
It would just work. It just would.
And I guess, remember Beyonce was in the sequel, so they'd have to get Kim Kardashian to do a fembot in one of it too.
Yeah, you look back at those scenes with Beyonce and you're like, she just really did not give a fuck.
No, she didn't.
Thanks for watching. Listen to full episodes of Pop Culture Crisis on Spotify.
Keep up with us on social media and make sure you subscribe and ring that bell so you never miss the show. Bye, guys.